detective thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again. Just Jared and I once again. This week's episode we're going to South Korea for the train to Busan. But before we get to that, let's just do a little bit of up or down, Jared. A couple of movie trailers dropped. One in particular I believe you said was a possible film of the year. It's called The Fanatic. Sorry, I can't even fucking say that with a straight face. It's directed by Fred Durst.
I challenged that.
I heard it. Directed by Fred Durst, frontman for Limp Bizkit.
Yep.
And stars John Travolta. Now, John needs to make better choices. He hasn't been making good choices recently. I'm not going to lie. Look, I was a Travolta fan back in the day. I enjoyed a bit of Pulp Fiction. I enjoyed a little bit of, General's Daughter, that type of thing. He hasn't made a good film in a long time. And this is not going to help him.
Movie of the year.
This is not going to help him. I don't know what they seem to have made him out to be slow, or I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know what kind of performance he's trying to go for in the trailer, and it stinks a little bit of that, The Fan from many years ago with De Niro and Wesley Snipes, but with.
Oh, I would have just said it stinks.
Okay, it stinks. Are you an up or down on this one? I'm remembering your previous quotes that I just gave verbatim.
Well, movie of the year.
Yeah.
John Travolta's going to bump Thomas Jane off the throne as actor of the generation.
No one knocks TJ off. No one puts TJ in their corner.
I'm baffled. I just don't. I don't know.
Is it an up though?
Well, I know it's not an up, but I don't know what's going on. Because the idea is not so bad. Like it's obviously not a new one.
But in the hands of Travolta.
But in the subtle nuanced portrayal that he seems to be delivering. John Travolta's impressions of his of people who attend Comic-Con and things like that. I don't know.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. In the talons of Travolta, it's a shit fest. But yeah, it's an up for a master sort of pottery worker with a lump of clay. He's just kind of modelled into judging by the
into a lump of shit. You're saying,
judging by the trailer, he's pressed the accelerator on the wheel too hard.
Or like you and I, he was taken off the wheel and given the task of making a pinch pot.
Making a pinch pot. I think he's even failed in the pinch pot stakes, judging by the trailer. But I'm going to give it an up because, quite frankly, I need to see this film.
I'm going to watch it, but I don't know.
To see this film.
As I said, there was a couple of lines that he delivered in the trailer that sounded like Napoleon Dynamite. Look, Travolta's clearly got more experience dealing with fans than I do. I'm not sure I'm not sure they're all like him. I'm not sure they're all like he is in this trailer.
It's an up though. It's an up. Okay.
Yeah, but I can't judge the up or down on whether I'm going to see it because of course I'm going to watch it. But I'm suggesting it will be a down after I watch it.
The other one was The Hunt. It's a new one from Blumhouse.
Yep.
Directed by a guy by the name of Craig Zobel, who did a film a few years back called Compliance. It was actually a really interesting film because it was based on true events.
Much like The Fanatic.
Exactly.
And Body, funnily enough.
It stars Betty Gilpin from Glow and Hilary Swank. It's nothing new. Quite frankly, it looks very similar to something like Hard Target. But it looks like it'll be pretty solid. It won't have a guy with a dirty mullet, dirty greasy mullet, who says, "Why they call you Chance? My mama took one." That's not going to be in there, I don't think. But I think it'll probably be a solid little outing. Because it'll be classic Blumhouse, mate. It'll be made for fuck all.
I think we can all. Agree that this high concept fair is far better dealt with by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, exactly. The coffee was tolerable.
I think the hunt will be tolerable. I'm the same. I just think that Blumhouse just continue to drop these things, even when they're taking parts from other movies that we've seen.
Yeah.
They take the interesting stuff that I want to see, done in different ways.
They try and shape it into something more.
Yeah.
And they're not always successful. I'm not saying that Blumhouse hasn't had some shit. But they at least are trying to take those interesting ideas and do something with them.
Yeah.
And modestly budgeted.
Really?
No, I've never ever heard anyone say, Blumhouse has lost some money on this. Never.
Surprising that. They haven't boosted, $100 million on anyone that walks through the studio doors. But I mean, Jason Blum said it. They don't make a movie unless everyone in the office goes, oh, okay, when they get the pitch.
Mm.
And it's the same when you get their trailers. Basically, except maybe Truth or Dare.
I'd say they passed on the Fanatic.
Yeah, I think they got pitched and they said, get out, John.
Travolta's attached.
Yeah, we've put together a little video with John's portrayal. Get out.
Yeah, definitely an up for me. All right. Let's take a quick break and then I'll come back and mangle the cast of into Busan.
I cannot wait.
Back in a minute. Train to Busan from 2016. It's directed by Sang Ho Yeon, who directed The King of Pigs. Produced by Dong Ha Lee. Written by Sang Ho Yeon and Joo Suk Park.
You really... You're going well.
Hey, so far, few giggles.
I was laughing before you even tried it.
It stars Yu Gong as Sek Woo. And Fucking hell. I'll leave it at that. There you go.
I didn't really give you a fair chance at that.
As Ken Callender would say, you'd be fucking awesome. That's his name. I suggest she's a bit of a shut up.
I knew that just coming straight into this, I knew with your your reputation as something of a foreign correspondent. I've been laughing for the last 2 minutes before you even said a name. So
now, the budget was something, I believe it was something like 10 billion South Korean won, which actually is $8 million US dollars. And it made 87 million worldwide. It was solid. Yep. Solid work. Is the 6th highest grossing domestic film of all time in South Korea.
There you go.
Very solid. Alright, I'm going to go first on this one. Mate, this is a fucking ripper. Absolute ripper. It's nothing new in the zombie genre in terms of, it throws a lot of the usual stuff in there, but it does it so well, and it actually chucks a couple of little twists in, little tweaks that helps. Some of the issues for me are very minor. It's so fast-paced that it doesn't have time to stop too much for characters. They're pretty basic, but you know what? They actually managed to wring a bit of emotion out of it.
Yep.
Which I thought was fantastic. Overall, I mean, this is right up there with something like 28 Days Later. It's on a bigger scale and it has more problems, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And I gave it 4. I really enjoyed it.
Yep, I'm right there with you. So I kind of suggested this one because I'd seen it and remember really being surprised by it and really, really enjoying it. So part of me was like, Gibbo said he wanted to watch a good one. So I was like, yeah, we'll chuck this on. Then he missed it anyway. But
big nod.
But I kind of also wanted to go back and say, was it as good as I remembered?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm right there with you, 4, because it's, as you said, the zombies aren't anything new, but containing it in that space that they do.
Fantastic idea.
Managing to kind of get some believability around why they're still on the train and things like that. And as you said, the emotion lands.
Yeah.
Like they wring the emotional moments out of it. The characters...
Surprisingly so.
Yeah, whilst not too deep, barring the father-daughter relationship, they do enough that you're really into it. You're invested,
But
so
they don't stop to give you much time to actually look too closely at the characters and go, oh shit, that was stupid. Mm-hmm. You don't really have much time because the pace of it is quite...
Cracking,
yeah, it is. It's a cracking pace. So, straight off the bat, the idea of the moving train overrun by a horde of zombies, great idea. And we hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
We hadn't actually seen it.
We've
seen it everywhere else.
Yeah.
But it worked so well because the fact that you've got the nooks and crannies to go in, but you've also got nowhere to hide, really.
Yeah,
it's basically just running down the guts trying to get away from it.
Yep. And they... initially when I was watching it, I was thinking, how are they going to do this for nearly 2 hours? Like, how are they going to keep it on the train? And they actually managed to do it quite believably. Like, they have the stop, they have the reasons that they can't get off, basically, and you kind of buy them.
Everything's overrun. We can't get off here.
Yeah,
they try to get off, and then they're chased back into it.
And then they go back. They go past the other stations where people are fucking banging on the doors saying "Let us on," So you kind of you kind of engaged in that small space, and you run with it.
Yeah. Very cool opening. The bloke going through the checkpoint, hitting the deer,
pissing and moaning.
Hits the deer, drives off. The deer gets up.
Yeah, and kind of the way it kind of rides and it kind of twists. Like I think the back legs get up first, if I remember. Yeah. Then it kind of drags its head up sideways and kind of.
I really like that. Just set the scene.
Yep.
I also like the fact that they kind of, even though she's a fast start, I think you're on the train in the first 15.
Yeah, I think it's about 15 to 20
but
when you're on the train.
They kind of drip feed something's wrong for the first 15 minutes. Obviously, the guy hitting the deer and it getting back up on its feet.
Yeah.
The article in the paper about the dead fish.
Yep.
All the emergency vehicles coming past in the middle of the night. And the fire in the building. Things are we're starting to see something's wrong.
Yeah.
But they just do enough. They do drip feed, and at that stage, they're still setting up the daughter-father chemistry.
Yeah. And
he's a prick of a bloke to start with.
Yeah, and they actually do that really well because they don't go... It's not heavy on the dialogue between him and his mother, for example, to explain that things aren't going great with his wife and his daughter. It's pretty light there. And then he has that moment with the wee, where he gives her a wee, and she just looks over the other side of the room and there's already one sitting there, same box and everything, and it's just like...
So you don't actually
that's all you see to know this bloke's not doing a great job here. Like, there's
he's
a
barely
disconnect.
spending any time with it. He's not keeping in touch with it.
Yep.
25 minutes into the film, and it's just all happening.
And
people are infected, all hell's breaking loose. But, people are just getting bitten left and right.
Yeah.
The chase is on. There's quite a bit of tension built in those opening exchanges. Which I really like.
Yeah, when they start taking over the train,
they do a quick whip round of the characters we'll see more time with.
Yeah. But
just
then,
a quick whip round.
As you said, that opening where they start to take over it kicks things into high gear. The intensity just ramps up. I love the first shot you get where the zombies are fucking clambering over each other, and it's like a fucking pile of insects or something.
Yeah.
They're just charging it, and then the chick that gets attacked in the little vestibule part, and then fucking just kind of whips back up straight to her feet. The big fella's like, oh shit, that stuff is awesome.
And old mate closing the door on the big guy.
Yep.
It's kind of showcasing again he's out for himself.
Yeah, look after number one.
He's not
give a
really
fuck about
thinking
anyone
about
else.
anyone else. And to some extent, they're not even his child. You know, he's kind of a little bit. He's not even keeping real good tabs on her either.
No.
In this situation, so I like that they at least sort of ran that home. I love the idea that you don't actually have to lock the door.
Yeah.
If you cover the.
Yeah, they lose sight.
Yeah, they lose sight.
They didn't know how to operate the door. Didn't know how to open the door.
They don't know how to open the door. I thought that was great. They were good ideas because it was all by the numbers, but then there was those little tiny bits where they just kind of tweaked the mythology a little bit.
Yeah, like out of sight, out of mind.
Like, the darkness.
Yep.
You know, that stuff was cool. It came in later.
Yeah.
They used it to their advantage perfectly.
Yeah, just those couple of little tweaks that make it work for their scenario.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Dying Light.
Yeah,
where, you go out at night time and stuff.
Yeah.
Daytime,
they're right up your ass. So.
Yep.
Just the idea that you saw all those hundreds of zombies crammed into the train and they're all just sort of banging on the window and everything. It's a really cool sort of shot. And there's another really cool one too where he's running from them and they shoot from the outside of the train. And so he goes running past through the windows and obviously the train's moving and then you just see all these zombies chasing after him. I thought, really cool shots. Interesting. You know, they did something with the material. Yeah,
inventive stuff. And they all work because you're holding your breath when that shit's going on.
There's military zombies attacking them when they get off the train.
Yeah,
that was gold.
Daejeon Station.
Was awesome.
That was an excellent scene. It was quite lengthy.
It really reminded me of 28 Days Later.
Yeah, and then the things with the father and the daughter start to come to a head just prior to that, and then
you punch the air and the big bopper saves her life.
Yeah.
He just comes out of nowhere and fucking jobs that bloke.
Yep, and as you said, the soldiers start to cut a swath. And
and they're coming from everywhere. They're falling out the windows.
Yeah. One of my favourite moments before that, not long before that, is when they're showing the news footage. The fucking zombies falling off the chopper.
Yeah.
They fucking fall off the helicopters and they get up.
Smash to the ground, they just get up and chase the guys on the skateboards.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so... Again, it's bringing... As you said, this stuff's not new, but just those little moments of inventiveness that just bring a bit of life to it.
Best period of the film was when the main guy, the big unit in the blue suit, and the kid with the baseball bat gear up and just work their way from one car to the next to get to the daughter and the pregnant woman who are trapped.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
And it's quite prolonged.
Yeah.
Because they have that scene where they just fucking barge through one of them and then they realise that the light and the sound is...
And then they sneak through. Advantage. He throws the mobile, it goes off, they go for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's one where they creep along up in the baggage piece above. Like, that shit was just awesome. The whole lot of it was just great. Yeah,
and it builds back up to... It doesn't really stop much for the rest of it, you know. It builds back up to them trying to get back in and their little homeless-looking guy crunching the can and... Fucking we're back into it. And then,
that bloke, he's a liability.
It was really hurting things at that point.
I also like the phone call he gets from his mum.
Yeah.
Where she's turning.
You can, and you don't get the sense for, the first few sentences. She sounds normal and then she starts kind of heavy breathing and shit and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then she kind of says, what's that line she says about your wife? She says, that bitch or something like that.
That bitch or something. I'm thinking, she's... I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the disoriented in the darkness, I just thought that was just a cool piece because having the train tunnels... It just added this nice kind of... The tension was building. They were trying to get out. It wasn't all just balls to the wall hitting everything.
No.
They were trying to sort of sneak their way through. There was kind of trying to be a little more clandestine as they worked their way through and they'd wait for the tunnel to come through and then they'd do something different. I liked it. I thought it was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And something different again. Mate, the big bopper getting bitten.
Oh.
I almost teared up.
Yeah, it got you.
I mean, you barely know the bloke. I mean, he's a cipher. He's a two-dimensional character.
Yeah, but it was kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then, the way he kind of says the name.
Yeah.
That's the name. That's the baby's name. And you're just like, oh, shit, you've got me. But yeah, it was just the
He goes in swinging now.
they did enough, because even though you don't know in depth of the character, you get a sense of the guy's kind of morals and the way that he's protecting the kid. And even though the kid's dad's a bit of an arsehole and he tells him your dad's an arsehole, he's not holding that against her, and he's trying to kind of
he's kind of connecting, and also he's connecting with the father a little bit.
Yeah, and he's amusing too, which goes a long way for me.
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, for some reason I got emotional.
Yeah.
I kind of liked. I had some negatives to the CEO bloke.
Yeah.
But I did kind of like the bit where they finally get to safety.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of ostracised.
Yeah.
They're kind of
He breaks it into faction.
You're infected. Nobody knows that they're infected.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the point of the movies.
And I kind of dug
classes
too,
and shit.
I kind of dug too. They didn't go to the old staple. Someone's been infected, but we don't know it.
Yeah.
In amongst the group of survivors.
Yep.
Initially, I thought they were going to go there with the old lady, but they didn't, and I liked that. They
kind of flipped it a little bit, and they had her just saying that she just fucking gave up, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked it. They were breaking into the factions, and the guy with the money was kind of, directing traffic. Everyone was following his lead, and yeah, it was kind of shit. But it was a nice little moment of, as has been done in the genre before, the monsters aren't there. They're in here. They're in here.
The bad guy is here with you.
Yep.
The cut-off train track just adds another wrinkle, raise the stakes. How the hell do we get past this?
Yep.
We've got to disembark. We've got to find another train. We've got to get on outside the busted up bits.
Yeah. And
get moving again.
And then old mate goes fucking full villain and starts fucking throwing people to the wolves left and right. He's just an arsehole, isn't he? Even the bloke that saves him on the track.
He puts the bloody train driver in the shit too.
Yeah.
And then that's followed by the train on fire that then jumps the track and takes out everything.
Which came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You could look at that and say, it's pushing the boundaries a little bit, but I enjoyed it. It just added another wrinkle.
From a visual perspective, if anything. It looked great, and it just added again that wrinkle. I love the shot though when the train hits and you get a slow-mo shot inside where everyone goes up to the roof.
Yep.
That was really cool. I got emotional over the young baseball bloke and his missus.
Yeah, well that was cool. I like how they just showed the shot from he's crying and then they just pull back
and she bites him. She just
fucking bites him and he just sits there and
takes it. Yeah, got a little emotional there.
A little bit,
not too emotional, but
enough.
I also there was two really great shots that kind of finished it off for me. The high shot of the survivors trying to chase down the train and then the zombies coming from everywhere.
Converging, yep.
And then you end up with the chain of zombies just hanging off the back.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then the final shot of him just falling off the train in shadow.
Nice way to do it, in shadow there.
Just kind of falls off the train.
Yep.
And look, I've got a couple of dislikes with that last bit about him.
Yep.
But I think it was cathartic type of moment.
Yeah, and that moment hit because the girl was doing... Yeah. She was really putting in the acting performance.
Yeah.
Little kid, the way she was just crying and wouldn't stop. And, I thought she was great for that last scene. And he, obviously, that builds to him and having the little flashbacks and things. So,
yeah, that was cool. As he's changing.
Yep.
He's changing into a zombie, but he's still having...
Yeah, the shot of him with his eyes turning white, but then kind of smiling and while he's crying, and it's like you think about it, and you're like, that's kind of the first moment he's smiled in the movie. Yeah,
it was really good. Any other big likes for you?
No, we pretty much covered them all. I just thought, it was really well done. It's just a good piece of entertainment, but it's got enough of that commentary on class systems and shit like that it fits nicely with some of the better zombie picks. So.
Yeah. Dislikes. As I said before, due to the sheer pace of the film, it's moving so quickly for so long that we really don't we get nothing but basic characterizations.
Yep.
You barely know most of the characters except for the father and his daughter.
Yep.
That's fleshed out a little bit because they have that extra 15 minutes at the start where they get to build. The big boppy, you don't really know him that well. The two old people, you see them a couple of times and that's it.
Yeah.
The big bopper, at least you get his wife's pregnant.
Yep.
He's got that sort of back and forth kind of jibing with the
Hey,
father.
arsehole.
Yeah, that sort of stuff's there.
Yeah.
Then you got the baseball kid, but really he's not much to it.
The baseball kids and the two old ladies were the ones that really, for me, by the end of it, I just looked at the old ladies and I said the purpose they served was just to get that door open.
Yeah, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I found that lazy. The fact that she just randomly she opens the door on a whim after looking at her partner, I assume.
I thought it was a sister.
Oh, was it a sister? Couldn't really tell.
Could be wrong.
Well, either way, they were friends or sisters or whatever. She looks at her and she just kind of gives up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, but that's you've done such a good job to try and sort of keep everyone's motivations legit.
Yeah.
And then you pull that. It's kind of a lazy move.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, okay, maybe there were not a lot of good options as to how you would get that door open. Because who the hell would open the door?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there could have been something. There could have been something there. Or you could have made her reason.
Of that they've learned to open the door.
You could have, well, I, as you said, I liked that they didn't. I liked that they couldn't, and I didn't really want them. I've seen it in other movies where they learned to open a door, and I really disliked it. I think the thing for me was perhaps that could have worked, but just the motivation for why she does it is a bit more clearer than, you always did everything for everyone else.
We probably needed more in the early stages of those two characters to get a sense of who they were.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And the CEO, he was as bad could be.
Yeah,
you know,
he was an arsehole from the get-go. Yeah. I did like him down the stretch, as I said, when he goes into full-blown villain territory.
Yeah, he's doing everything, everybody, he's stepping on everyone.
Yeah, but
it just kind of
he was very one-note.
He had no redeeming qualities at all.
No.
There was no arc, there was nothing.
Yep.
They do kind of play with the how long it takes to turn. Depending upon what you needed.
Exactly, yeah. They kind of made it for their own terms.
Because
the first one to turn,
just get to their feet.
Yeah, the first one to turn takes a while.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, people just get fucking hammered and then they're straight back up.
Yeah. And then you had the big bopper. He
plays
time
fast
to
and
go.
loose. Yeah.
The father, they all kind of... Because they had things to say.
Yeah.
And so it just felt a little bit like, we're playing a little bit fast with what the rules, so to speak.
Yes, I would agree with that. I actually thought, you brought up the budget, which wasn't heavy, and it's funny because I thought the CGI looked okay, but it also stands out that it's CGI.
Oh yeah.
So it's sort of, I hesitate to go with disliking it because I felt for the most part that the effects worked okay, but it's just that it's so obvious. Like you look at it and you say, yeah, it looks all right. But when it's CGI.
Yeah, well, you could see it from just the sheen of it.
Yeah.
It kind of looked cartoonish in parts.
And it's funny because some of that stuff was what I liked most, like when the zombies were clambering over the top of each other.
Yeah.
That was CGI, but I liked the idea of it. I liked the look of it.
But in saying that, I would not have said they were bad.
No,
really bad.
Not at all.
And considering it's $8 million budget...
Yeah.
US budget.
That's pretty much as good as you can hope for, really.
I think so. There was all those conversations on the phone with Kim.
Yeah.
That I just remember thinking, is there a payoff here? And then there was zero payoff.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, so what was the point of the conversation?
Well, I think it was to get him off the station at what's it called? Daejeon or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Because if you get out there and you go this way... I've got a friend who can help you out.
He was going to organise that, so that's what it was initially. But then the last one is that Kim finds out that their company was involved in this, or something. That was the one where I was kind of like, that felt like it was supposed to be a really big moment, but wasn't really.
Well, there was no point to it.
Yeah.
It had no point.
I think that was... What I took out of that was part of the social commentary. I felt like you're part of the elite and the zombies are the fucking...
But yet you created this.
Yeah. That's kind of what I got, but it just felt like it wasn't quite the moment
I think you could have
it out to be.
You could have done with it, like, this movie was such an entertaining ride. You could have, even if the social commentary wasn't there, I wouldn't have been too unhappy with the way it sort of played out.
Yeah, well, that's
it wasn't. It was a real rollicking sort of ride that threw in a couple of emotional moments, and they hit.
Yep.
So strangely enough, I would have just been accepting that. Yeah, okay, it's no deeper than that.
Yeah.
But who cares? And the last one for me is when he actually fighting the zombie at the end. He, for some stupid reason, put his arm around his head right at mouth level.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it seemed like it was on purpose.
Yeah.
To stop him from biting anyone else. That, for me, you've been through so much that it was just like, I felt like they overdid the kind of self-sacrifice.
Yeah, because
happened.
Big Bopper was self-sacrifice.
Well, he got bitten.
He got bitten and sacrificed.
But the first old lady stands at the door shaking her head.
Yeah.
The liability, the homeless fella who continues to bloody put everyone in the pulp until he decides to...
That's right, he decides to step in the way and saves the little girl.
Saves the little girl. But then the dad does it too. And I loved that moment at the end when he fell off the train, and it was like the first moment of him doing something for someone else. But it also felt like you've been through such a ride to get here that it was kind of cheating the little girl a little bit for the story's sake. But
I guess, as you said too, they'd used it so often. It's sort of become a little bit kind of blasé now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could be... Maybe it wasn't on purpose. Maybe it was just clumsy. But I felt like there was a couple of ways you could have gone before that.
Mm.
Like shut the door on the bloke when you saw his eyes. I don't know how you were going to get back in for the...
to stop the train.
To stop the train, but you could have had a couple of minutes to think about that while the door was shut.
Well, I'm thinking you throw him off the... He comes at you.
Well, that's it. That's what I thought. You would have been trying to do
grab him by the bloody pills and point him off.
Yeah. One there around the agates.
Yeah. What's commonly known as a reverse squirrel. Chuck him off. Look, it kind of... I actually kind of felt like he should have survived.
Yeah, that's what
I felt that it would have still been acceptable.
I felt like it would have worked either way.
Yeah, because he'd shown that he was willing to sacrifice for his daughter.
Yeah, the sacrifice, him jumping off at the end and sacrificing himself was sort of like, you get why they did it.
Yeah.
But I almost would have liked to see him, because you'd been through a bit of the heartache with the big fella, and it would have been nice to perhaps just finish it the other way, but... Yeah, not a huge quibble, because it still packed the emotional punch. So.
It did. Any other likes, dislikes, anything else?
No, that was all mine covered. I didn't have a lot. I believe
there's a sequel in the works. Is that not true?
Yes, I think so. I haven't heard on it for a little while.
Be interesting to see how they go about it.
Yeah, it seems like perhaps it would have to be, I don't know, an alternate take of someone at the same time.
Maybe.
Period, or it's going to be well after that, which would be... I don't know. I think it would be hard to replicate, because this one had that kind of factor where everyone was in a panic because this was just happening.
Would they be, it's called Train to Busan. We're back on a train. I mean, how are we going to get those things to happen? So it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they handle it.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. All right, that's Train to Busan. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes and Spotify. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au.
What about Deezer?
Still
waiting for the
haven't
email?
got back to me. Yeah, just keep an eye out on that one.
Stay posted.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. Facebook, we're at Thrill Me Podcast Australia. Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at thrillmepodcast.au. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for more details of what we're going to cover for the next episode. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.